So hi, I'm Alex. I'm studying psychology with forensic investigation, finishing up in my final year, and currently I'm a trustee here, which is an amazing role, and president of the Psychology Society. I'm also a student rep and have been throughout my time, and I was a part-time officer for science and technology last year as well. I'm dyslexic, right? So in school, I was never necessarily successful academically. It was always a challenge. People often put it down to not being able to spell and not being able to, tell left from right, which that is the case, and I always struggled with that. But I didn't really understand it. I've come more to now realise that it brings with it a whole other range of challenges, things like organisation, time management, and because of that, I kind of always struggled. But what I was good at was rugby. I played at the highest level I could until I was 18, played in Gloucester Academy, but it meant that I had some people and some teachers say, oh, you're never going to be academic, you're never going to succeed academically, you may as well stick to rugby. I came from a relatively successful family. I always felt this pressure to do something with my life, and growing up all the time I thought rugby was going to be that. I thought, yeah, I'm going to play rugby. It was all going really well until about 2018. I was running along one day and basically my leg broke. It was an avulsion fracture of my tibia. That meant that I didn't play for a year. I was in a wheelchair for a month, crutches for 7 months, and then as soon as I started getting back into rugby, I had 2 concussions in a row and COVID hit. So I hadn't played rugby for about just over a year at this point. COVID hit, and naturally, because I hadn't played, I got dropped. I didn't know what to do. I'd grown up thinking rugby was going to be my thing and that it had to be my thing. And all of a sudden it wasn't. Throughout year 12 is when I kind of spiraled a bit, and not knowing what to do was really tough, and to the point where my mental health really suffered. We were in and out of lockdown too, and there were points where I was suicidal. I went to my 6th form. I ended up doing relatively well. I got ABC in my A-levels and came to Bournemouth, where in a way everything really started for me. The individuality that you get and the freedom from coming to university is unlike anything else. Kind of always wanted to be ambitious, always being ambitious, wanted to do something. And I heard of this Psychology Society was being set up. So I came along, I started as president in December, formed a brand new Psychology Society, which was amazing. And this is where things really started to take off. You don't have to have any kind of leadership beforehand. I hadn't really done much going into it, but I saw some amazing success. We're the biggest academic society with nearly 100 paid members. We were able to build a community, put on events regularly, whether they were academic, whether they were social, and all of this has allowed me to develop some really, really key skills. These skills can be around communication, so whether I'm talking to students, whether I'm leading my committee, talking to the academics, or talking to external people that we might get in to do talks. It gave me the confidence to apply for a research assistant position job within the psychology department, working on a project to do with gambling-related harms within the LGBTQ community. A couple months after starting the society, I got the position, which was amazing. Through that, I've had the opportunity to present research in Parliament. As a first-year student, that opportunity going down to London and being able to present research that I'd worked on in Parliament was awesome. And it all came from the opportunity that Subu kind of gave. And from that, applied for the elections for part-time officer. Again, opened up some doors into sitting in things like the education committee, like the faculty education committee, and those kind of experiences. These opportunities of speaking to people who you might necessarily not speak to otherwise, I think really helped form you. I worked on policies around timetabling, around student safety. Again, that gave me the confidence to apply for a trustee position. Being a trustee is all about being involved in the highest level of decision making at Subu. It's all executive, so I'm not necessarily on the ground doing things anymore. It's all about making decisions, and that can be to do with the strategy of the SU going forward. It can be to do with HR, pay policy, finance, all of that kind of stuff. So it's very business oriented. And as a student trustee, it allows me to bring a different point of view from other people there. It allows me to talk about my own experience, to talk about the experience of other students. But alongside some of the things I've just mentioned, with Subu as part of being a trustee, I've had the opportunity to speak at some open days, be in the welcome talks with the VC, and all of this is about attracting talent, right? Attracting new prospective students and being able to share not only my story, but the story of my friends and talk about the experience that I've had has been really, really rewarding. We all know the situation in higher education at the minute. Through my 3 years, I have seen the importance of research and the joy of education, you really leave with more than a degree. When I came here, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I certainly never thought of myself as academic, and coming to university, having that support and having Subu give me the confidence to talk to people and to apply for things that you might not think you would have otherwise, you know. If it weren't for Subu, I don't know if I would have applied for a PhD position, but I did, and I got it. If I was given the opportunity to speak to someone who's coming next year, I would say, give everything you do 100%. Try and say yes to as much as you can do, because I think doors can open in places you might not expect them to. I think without Subu, my university journey would have been entirely different. The opportunities that Subu have given me have opened doors that I would have never thought possible and given me experiences that without, I wouldn't know where I'd be.